feels, I'm aware what really goes on.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday morning. It is Monday, February the 4th, 2019. Welcome, everyone, to Monday Morning Creative. I am Zach. I am your host. Welcome back to the channel. This is the first Monday Morning Creative episode 1. This is going to be a fun little episode, but welcome everyone. Look, this is a very easy video, very easy for everyone to follow. I simply go over what happened in the world of WWE this week, and after that, I just kind of go over what I would do differently. How would I do it? But welcome to episode 1 of Monday Morning Creative. This is a Patreon exclusive. So no Patreon plugs for everyone who is wondering, am I going to talk about it? No, there will be no Patreon plugs. But I am going to plug a few things. You guys can go to Twitter. Twitter.com/YoBroGaming1. You guys can also go to our Facebook at YoBro Nation on Facebook. We also have Discord. If you are a Patreon member, you do get to be a part of our VIP Discord group. If you're a co-producer or a producer, you are a moderator. You'll also get credit for all of our videos. So thank you to everyone who is a part of the Monday Morning Creative group. Whoever's a Patreon member and in this tier, thank you very much for joining us. Now, something else you guys can do. We do have our merchandise. TeePublic.com/YoBroNation1. Several t-shirts to choose from. YoBro Gaming and Reviews. The Charlotte Reigns shirt, the YoBro Nation Recess Never Gets Old t-shirt. There's also the Kissing Bandit shirt, YoBro Nation shirt. There's a lot of shirts. A lot of shirts you guys can go and you guys can check out. All of that's at YoBro Nation 1 at TeePublic.com, so you guys can go there. So yeah, this is simple. All I do is I basically just come on here and I just banter about what has happened with creative over the last week. And I just basically say what I would do differently. How would I change things? One of the big things that I definitely wanted to get into on this podcast today. And also, possibly at this point, if you're not watching this on YouTube, perhaps, maybe you're hearing this on Spotify, on the YoBro Nation channel on Spotify. I know Jake had set this up, so I've also obviously sent the link to Jake with just the audio version of this, so that way you guys can listen to us on Spotify. That's it's fun. I'm glad that it's on there. So either him or myself has already put this onto Spotify. So hopefully you guys listen to us on Spotify. Give us a good review on Spotify. It helps the channel, helps us get notified, and helps us spread. Let me take my coffee. So yeah, welcome everyone to the video. So yeah, first thing I want to get into is this whole Dean Ambrose thing, right? This whole Dean deal is kind of weird. Like, if you haven't already heard, the reports going around right now is that Dean Ambrose is walking out of WWE after the WrestleMania event, sometime that month. People are saying that he's going to go to AEW, or perhaps it's just a work, or maybe he'll go back to CZW or to something like that. I mean, who really knows? I'm not going to speculate as far as what Dean is going to do. or what Renee, his wife, might do. Renee Young, of course, you all know is his wife. I'm not going to speculate at all as far as what he or she will do. But I will tell you, it's the first thing I want to talk about with creative is Dean Ambrose and whether or not he's how should, well, not whether or not he should leave or should stay, but how, if he is in fact leaving, whether it be work or whatever, if he is really leaving, how do I want to book him? How would I book him? I've heard several different ways that people say he should be booked. Some people say, just leave him off, and that's probably what WWE will do, is they'll just leave him off of the television. Okay, you're leaving. We've sent you a future, well, they didn't say future endeavors, but gave him a well wishes video saying good luck and, thanks for everything. But how would I book him? I would keep him on TV, at least through Elimination Chamber. Book him whoever against you want to book him against, right? Let's see. But book him up against an EC3, right? EC3 needs some TV time. Go ahead. They can't really do that unless tonight they start doing something with EC3. But, book him against someone in the lower mid card. What's the name I could think of off the top of my head? Someone who's not really doing much, but needs something. Apollo Crews. Book him in Apollo Crews. We'll just throw Apollo Crews into this, just because. Apollo Crews is someone they're supposedly trying to push. Put him against Apollo Crews. That'd be a pretty big win, Book him against Apollo Crews up till, Elimination Chamber. Just give him a little match. A couple weeks to build. Maybe he's hokey, and Dean doesn't like hokey. So we go ahead and we book these guys to face each other. Simple, right? Super simple. So they have the match come Elimination Chamber. He loses to Apollo Crews clean, right? You're trying to write him off television. So what do? You let him lose to Apollo Crews. Lars Sullivan is from what I'm being told, Lars Sullivan is still with the channel, or with the company, that he's not out yet. So excuse me guys, I'm still fighting a cold. So you can just simply have him, have Lars Sullivan come out and just destroy him. That's easy. He can just destroy the guy. No big deal. So then Dean's there. Dean's been wrote off TV. Now Seth Rollins is most likely going to win the match at WrestleMania. And he should. He definitely should win the match at WrestleMania, and he should slay the beast. Now, once he's done that, this is what I heard. I was watching Steven Larson the other day, and I can't remember. I think it was Steve. Steve brought up the fact, he says this probably won't happen, and I agree. But I love the idea, and I definitely think this is exactly what they should do. He should go, Seth should win the match. Dean should come out. This is Dean out of character. This is just Jonathan Good, friends with Seth Rollins. So Dean comes out. They embrace. They raise their hands. And yes, you can have Roman out there. Roman can be in the building. Doesn't mean he has to be in a match. And just have those three do their little shield pose, That's a great ending to WrestleMania. Dean, not in a storyline, can just come out there, have a feel-good moment with his friend, his real-life friend, and then just go from there. Just have Dean ride off into the sunset. Dean can, be there with his two friends. Yes, people are like, but Zach, ain't him and Seth enemies? Well, yeah, but it's a story. This is Dean, who is leaving for real, who will never get this chance to be with his buddies, like this again, at WrestleMania. It'll almost be Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit-esque, where both men finish up the night as champions, and they come out there together, and they just celebrate at the end of WrestleMania. It'll be something similar to that. So that's what I think. I think that should be the end of it. I think that's how they should honestly end the night, is just these two celebrating together. These three guys celebrating together. They can do their Shield fist bump one more time, and then there you go. You've got your Dean finale. Dean's finale. He's gone, and he gets to leave, ending, or at least being the end of a semi-main event, because I still think WrestleMania needs to finish with with Becky and Ronda, which will probably still be Charlotte, but I'll get to that here in a minute. So yeah, that's how I book that. That's how I do it. Yes, I kind of took an idea from someone else, but I give them credit. But I think it's a great idea. I think that's exactly what they need to do. So I'm telling you what, guys, it's like so hard to sit here and talk, and my throat is just, well, my throat's okay, but it's just trying to breathe because it's just it's all what it is. Okay, so moving on. That's how I would do Dean. Now, speaking of Dean, there's the Seth Rollins thing. The ending to Raw was fudging horrible. I'm not going to say F. I'm not going to drop the F-bomb. Kids might be listening. It was fudging horrible. Well, not horrible. I enjoyed the segment, but a lot of people didn't like it. So what do you do differently? What is this? I mean, we probably won't see a lot of Brock. That's usually how it goes. I would do it differently, though. I would have quite a bit more of Brock Lesnar over WrestleMania. You already pay him the money. There's a chance he may leave, may not leave. We don't know what he's going to do. It's every year. What's Brock going to do after WrestleMania? Well, who really cares anymore, right? Who cares? Here's what you do. Brock Lesnar makes more appearances. I'm not saying he has to wrestle. Or at the very least, you need to get more Paul Heyman, okay? Now, we already know what this is going to be. We already know Paul will make a couple appearances, hype up the match. Excuse me. Brock will make one or two, mainly like the last month. About the last month or so. They'll have Seth in a feud with somebody between now and then. Just to put him on the card, right? At least you would assume. I wouldn't, though. I wouldn't actually put Seth on the card. What I would do, keep him off Elimination Chamber. You don't need Seth on the Elimination Chamber. He can cut a promo backstage if you'd like, but don't put him in a match. Leave him off the card. Some people may think that's stupid. This is what I would do. I'd leave Seth off the card. Simple. Go ahead and then have the contract signing at Fastlane in March. March 10th, I believe, is the date for Fastlane. Have Seth and Brock be there, and then have them do the contract signing. Now, in between this, have some more of Paul Heyman. You don't have to have Brock every show, but have at least Paul there at least twice. Have Paul there at least once before Elimination Chamber. Let him and Seth have a backstage promo at the Chamber. Seth's cutting a promo, and Paul can show up. And Paul can do what Paul does best. Then you can have Brock on Raw the next night. Paul can be there the next week. And then just have this banter back and forth between Seth and Paul, where maybe Paul starts getting into Seth's head. Hey, look what he did to your buddy Roman last year at WrestleMania. Look what he did to him at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Because we already know they're probably going to involve Roman and his leukemia in some way. So there we go. I'll play off of that. Let them have their cake and they can eat it too. But they're going to do it my way. Well, in my reality at least. So, Paul's getting into the head of Seth. There's going to be 4 weeks between, or 3 weeks between Elimination Chamber and Fastlane. They'll announce it. The contract signing for WrestleMania between Seth and Brock will be at Fastlane. We'll do the contract signing at the pay-per-view. Okay. So, in that 3 weeks, we'll see Paul Heyman, and we'll see Brock before the show. We'll see Brock on the Go Home show and the show after Elimination Chamber. Let him beat up Seth. Just let him keep beating Seth up, because the more he beats Seth, the more sympathy people are going to start to build. But at the same time, Seth's got to look good. Like Seth might have him, but Brock's just going to beat him up. Similar to what they did on Raw this past week. Seth's going for him. You don't want Seth to look like a punk who's not going to try to fight him, because that's what they did with their first feud a couple years ago heading into Battleground. So yeah, Seth is basically, you know, he's valiant, he's willing to fight, but Brock is just too much for him. But Seth gets a few shots in. So we see it on the Go Home show, we see it on that first show, and we just have Paul, you know, at the contract signing, after the contract signing, just in Seth's head. You can't beat him. Look, every time you get in the ring with him, he beats you up. And then he can even refer back to Battleground. Hey, he was wiping the floor with you. The only thing that saved you was the Undertaker. Okay, Seth can't deny that. Undertaker saved him. But Seth can come back. You know, I was a different guy back then. You know, I wasn't who I am now. You know, something. You know, Seth, something creative. Seth can say, right? And he says, you know, and the only reason you ever beat Brock for the championship to begin with is because you had to sneak it in with Money in the Bank. You've never pinned Brock Lesnar. Brock has your number. And, of course, then Brock can come out a few times between WrestleMania and Fastlane. We got to see more Brock Lesnar. Okay? At least 4 to 5 times between now and then. There's, 8 weeks? So that's a pretty decent amount of times. 8 weeks to go. You see him 4 or 5 times. That's only 3 Raws without him. And then you can have Paul show up a lot more. I really think they should do this, honestly. That is what I would do. I would have these guys do exactly that. And just have them getting into Seth's head. Have it to where Seth is really starting to feel doubt. Okay? And you're building this up where Seth just isn't able to really get to the beast. All right? He's just beat down and beat down and beat down and beat down, verbally and physically. Okay? But then you're saying, well, that's going to make it so obvious, right? So obvious that Seth is going to win. Well, that final go-home show, when Brock is there, and Paul's there, and they're cutting down Seth, Seth plays his music, Seth comes out, and you're like, okay, here comes another beatdown. And Brock he's beating down Seth, he's suplexing the shit out of Seth, right? But finally, Brock is full of himself, right? Brock is full of himself. Seth gets an advantage. Seth starts fighting back. Seth starts getting the advantage. Seth goes for a curb stomp, but Brock gets out. He evades it. You don't want Seth to hit the curb stomp on Brock yet. Seth evades it, right? Brock evades it. Brock's scared. Brock's like, oh my God, this guy could actually take it to me. So it's only for that instant, because you don't want Seth going in completely weak, right? Seth's got his confidence back. Going into Mania, he's like, oh, that, you know, he's showing him that close, right? I was that close to getting you. And then Seth gets him, you know, at WrestleMania. Seth fights back. Seth gets beat up, but Seth wins the match. Well, however you want to book it, to make Seth look strong, it'll probably be a 10-minute match. I would try to push Brock to 15 minutes. Give them 15 minutes. The women can close it out with like a 20, 25-minute match, right? Whether it's Ronda or Becky. That's what you do. That's how you book it. You know what I mean? It's perfect. Perfect. In my eyes, maybe some people are like, nah, you could book this much better. And maybe someone who's smarter than me can book it better. But that's how I would do it. Seth's confidence is getting ruined. You go on the go-home show, well, Seth had the advantage going in. Does that mean Seth's going to lose? But Brock's been beating him up this whole time. It leaves you with the intrigue. It leaves you with the thought of, well, will this work? Can they do this? That's just how I would book it. That's how I would do it differently. You know what I mean? That's just my point of view. There's another thing I want to talk about real quick. I won't take as much time on this. The whole Shinsuke Nakamura, Rusev, and R-Truth thing. So, Rusev won it on the Christmas Day episode of SmackDown. Held the title till January 27th. Lost it to Shinsuke Nakamura. I obviously picked Rusev to win. Rusev, I think, should have won, right? I mean, that would have been the thought, right? So, with that being the case, R-Truth wins, which I'm all for R-Truth becoming the champion. The guy ain't had a title in 7 years. They said that. So I'm all cool with that. Good for R-Truth. What do you do? How do you book this? I don't want Rusev to be heel, and I'm kind of at a loss. All right, like, why are they turning Rusev heel? So what do you do? How do you go with this? I still believe Nakamura is going to leave. Put him as a tag team? No, I don't. I've heard some people say, "I'll make him a tag team." Well, why not just book this simple? A triple threat at Elimination Chamber. You know, these guys are going to have a match, Rusev and Nakamura against the Good Brothers. Let the Good Brothers win. Let Nakamura attack Rusev afterwards, maintaining, you know, maybe we say Rusev's a tweener. You know, people are still going to chant for Rusev. Make him a tweener. And then let him and Nakamura and R-Truth have a really good triple threat match at Elimination Chamber. And R-Truth should go over. I don't want them to hot potato the championship. Let R-Truth hold this championship till WrestleMania. And then, I don't know, put him in a ladder match, right? Put him in a ladder match with, you know, 7 other guys. And let him just go at it and, you know, the championship be what the championship is. R-Truth remains champion. That's what I would do. Simply, I would just book it to where Nakamura hits Rusev after their match on SmackDown this coming week, and we maintain a semi sort of face Rusev. He doesn't have to go full on heel. He's not said nothing bad about the fans yet. Just maintain him as a tweener at the very least. Give him an edge, right? That's what I would do. I know it's not the biggest topic of discussion, but it is something that people have been talking about. So that's just basically what I think I would do with those guys. Yeah, let R-Truth keep the championship. And then Nakamura can, I don't know, I guess Nakamura can go into that match at Mania, not win, and then he can just ride off into the sunset. He can still have his match, right? Oh, they'll probably do nothing close to that. Nothing at all. With any of these ideas that I've had so far, they won't do crap close to what I've thought. Because that's just how WWE works, right? So, moving on. My last subject for today, for this Monday morning. So, we already know Ronda and Becky are going to be at WrestleMania. There's still the looming Charlotte possibly being involved. They've already planted the seeds. She came out on Monday, talked some shit, sideways compliments to Becky, more or less taking credit for what she did. Sorry guys, I'm drinking coffee. So the seeds have already been planted. I don't think we should at all have Charlotte in this match at WrestleMania. We just listening to the response with what they did with Ronda, what they did with Becky at Raw, just listening to their reactions, you don't need the Queen. You don't need Charlotte in this feud. You just don't need it. So what would I do? I would book the match, just to make people sweat. Just to play with the people's emotions, the fans. At Elimination Chamber, not at Fastlane like some people are saying. No, you build this at the Elimination Chamber. You build Becky versus Charlotte at the Elimination Chamber. Well, if Charlotte wants in this match, she's got to beat Becky, and Becky with the hurt leg is going to lead you more to think Charlotte's going to win. Charlotte's going to be added. And we're going to have Charlotte, the Queen, added to WrestleMania yet again. She's going to be added to a match, getting in Becky's way again. Except she doesn't. Becky once again overcomes the odds. Becky again gets to beat Charlotte, and she's good. Charlotte is out. What does Charlotte do? I don't know. You book Asuka Charlotte 2 at WrestleMania. Simple. I mean, that's what everyone. That's a consensus amongst almost everybody. Everybody needs to be able to do that. That's what everyone thinks it needs to be. Now, I don't know who you have Ronda feud with on Raw. In the meantime, maybe Ruby Riott. Maybe Ruby Riott gets a title shot between now and Fastlane, or between now and then. You know, give her a title shot at Elimination Chamber. I mean, honestly, just put someone in that's a deemable opponent, or maybe Sasha gets another shot. Give Sasha another rematch against Ronda at Elimination Chamber, and then between then and Fastlane, Ronda versus anybody. Maybe Ruby Riott gets a title shot, just so she's got that 30 days, right? That 30 days where she's competed and put the title up. So from there, I think you do a lot like what you're going to do with Seth and Brock. I think you have those two do a contract signing at WrestleMania, or at Fastlane. Ronda and Becky, they do their contract signing. You can have Charlotte and Asuka. You know, Charlotte can, just play it off. Hey, I'm coming for you. I didn't get what I want, but you're the constellation prize. I don't know who you book Asuka against between now and then, but there's opportunities. Nikki Cross or someone. You can't say Ember Moon because it looks like Ember Moon's out for a while, so I don't really know what you do with that. I'll come up with something. I'll try to book Asuka, seeing what they do with Asuka coming out of SmackDown this week. I'll figure it out. And that's what I'll figure out for next week. I'll get to Asuka there. But at the tentative moment, Charlotte, Asuka 2, Ronda, Becky at WrestleMania. You can have Becky infiltrating Raw. You should have Ronda infiltrate SmackDown. That's something Becky brought up to her on Raw. Like, you didn't come looking for me after Raw. You just stayed and just was content. So I came looking for you. Ronda's got to retaliate. Ronda's got to come for her. And just have that, back and forth promos. Have them show up in each other's shows. Don't let them talk. Don't let them touch each other. Just have them show up. That's it. Don't let them touch each other, though. They should not touch. She should show up, and security should be right there. Ronda's just there. Let Ronda beat whoever she's in the ring with up, and just have the stare down. Look what I did to her. I'm going to do it to you. And then she can show up, cut a promo on each other. Same thing with Becky. Ronda shows up on SmackDown, beats up Becky's opponent. Becky shows up on Raw, beats up her opponent. Back and forth. It goes. That's just what they do, and they can cut promos on each other. They don't need to interact. They don't need to beat each other up between now and WrestleMania. But that's kind of what I would do. Maybe over the course of the weeks, I'll look at it differently and be like, maybe I would do it this way instead. Especially if it does turn out Charlotte's going to be a part of it. Obviously, I'll have to adjust as far as what I would do. I mean, that's an obvious given, right? But that's pretty much going to be it. This is Monday Morning Creative, guys. Like I said, I don't go over everything that happens because there's so much going on and stories got to develop, and I can go and change ideas from there. But this is basically what Monday Morning Creative is. Just me having a little discussion, a few minutes on, whatever I look at and say, hey, I could book this differently, or hey, this is how I would book it. And there's not a lot of, I would book this differently this week because it's fresh off of the Rumble. So they're not really building storylines. But as time progresses, maybe I'll see how they've booked it, and I was like, no, I wouldn't do it this way. They should do it like this. But thank you guys, seriously, to all my Patreon members who are watching this, listening to this on Spotify or whatever you're doing. Really, though, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. So this is it, though. This is Monday Morning Creative. Remember, guys, Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. You guys can go to StreamLabs and donate there if you want to. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed to the channel. You should be. Like the videos, share the videos. Thank you for being a Patreon member. Spread the word, get people to listen to this. But I'm Zach. This was the Monday Morning Creative. You guys have a fantastic Monday. I will be on the channel tonight on the YouTube channel tonight with my classic Monday Night Raw review. Remember, Royal Rumble videos up. 2K19 videos are up. All that stuff's up on the channel. You guys can go check it out. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I'll say it again. But thank you guys so very much. And thank you guys for coming into the channel. I'll see you guys later.